Let us chant from verses 11 to 20 of chapter 9. Avajananti mam mudhaha manushin tanumashritam param bhavamajanantaha mama bhutamaheshwaram mogha mogha karmanaha mogha jnana vicetasaha Rakshasema suhrim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajantyananya manasaha jnatva bhutadim avyayam Satatam kirtayanto ma yatantascha dridhavritaha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate yekat Vena prathakvena bahudha vishvato mukham aham kraturaham yajnaha swadhaham aham aushadham mantrohamahame bhajyam aham agniraham hutam Pitahamasya jagataha Mata dhata pitamaha Vedhyam pavitra monkaraha Ritsamaya juhe vacha Gathir bharta prabhu sakshi Nivasa sharanam suhrit Prabhava pralayasthanam nidhanam bijamavyayam tapamyahamaham varsham nigrinhnam yutsrajami cha amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasacchahamarjuna Traividhyamam soma paputa papaha Yajnairishta swadgatim prathayante Te punyamha sadhya surendra lokam Ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Till now he said, the Rakshasas and the Asuric nature people, they don't come near me, they don't worship me. But the Mahatmas worship me with unwavering mind. And how do they worship me with unwavering mind? Verse number 14, we were studying last week. How do they worship me with unwavering mind? Always glorifying me. Satatam kirtayantaha yatantascha dridhavrataha, firm in vows. Namasyantaha, prostrating. Nitya yuktaha upasate. they are ever steadfast in their worship. Glorifying prostration all implies bhakti yoga. Striving, firm in vows, ever steadfast, all indicates karma yoga. These are all the words that those are indicating these disciplines. So combinedly, this verse 14 talks about karma and karma yoga and bhakti yoga. And then we went on to see what is this Dhrida Vrataha. And then we went on to see what is this Kirtayantaha, prostration, etc. So what is this? What is this Dhrida Vrataha means? Dhrida Vrataha is a practice of certain disciplines. Vrata means practice of disciplines. That's called Vrata. Meaning a vow. You take a decision that you will do this. You take a decision that you will not do this and abide by that decision. This is called Vratam. Vrata means you take a decision. This is what I will do. And then you take a decision. This is what I will not do. This decision of this is what I will do and this is what I will not do combined is called Vrata. The formula behind it, the concept behind it. Then how does it translate into actual action? Shastra comes and aids us as to by giving us certain broad indicators of what to do and what not to do. So first is what is Vratam? A vow. Vow means a decision. Having decided, you don't go back. That is the character. Having taken a decision, whatsoever the temptations are, you don't get. Whatsoever the temptations are, you don't get tempted. Whatsoever the situation is, you don't change. This is called Vrata. And Vrata is of a few disciplines. Starts with Ahara, which is going to talk about in the 17th chapter. It talks with Ahara. Ahara means the food. Okay, what is the Vratam of food? What is the Vratam there? Before eating, you should have the discomfort of hunger. After eating, you should not have the discomfort of overeating. This is Ahara Niyama. What is Ahara Niyama? Before eating, you should have a discomfort of hunger. After eating, another discomfort. What is another discomfort? The discomfort of overeating. So what is Ahara Niyama means? You eat in such a way, the hunger discomfort should go away, but overeating discomfort should not come. If you are following that, you are following the Vratam of Ahara, eating rightly. This is called Vratam. It doesn't matter what you eat. It is not dependent upon what you eat. That comes much later. Before that is what? I'm having Vratam and you can't have idli, pongal, vada, dosa all put together, isn't it? Yeah, that is not Vratam, that is overeating, isn't it? So what does Vratam means? Before you eat, you have the discomfort of hunger. See, there are two types of discomforts. One is a discomfort due to hunger. Another is a discomfort due to overeating. Now, what is the Vratam of food here? You take a decision. What is the decision that you will take? I will not wait for hunger to come, but I will go for discomfort of overeating. What is the vratam you will take? The vratam that you will take is, I will wait for the discomfort of hunger, but I will never have the discomfort of overeating. So you are saying yes to one and no to another. This discipline is called vratam. So I'm just taking ahara as an example to explain the concept behind one of the essential disciplines of what is vratam. And then they go on to give the list, yama niyama list, vratam, what to do and what not to do. Vratam is a lifestyle change. Vratam is a permanent lifestyle change. Because if we use the olden words and all, it looks very superstitious. If we use the modern words, Shastra looks very attractive, isn't it? So we have to say lifestyle changes only. Is what is vratam? Vrata is nothing but the lifestyle changes that you bring into your everyday life. Lifestyle changes means it has to be inculcated on a daily basis. Then only it is called lifestyle change. Once in a year I practice for one day, you cannot call it as a lifestyle change. So what is the lifestyle change that vratam is bringing about? The list of yama and niyama. And we saw those lists also. Ahimsa is one discipline. Ahimsa is not wanting to cause himsa by physical, verbal, mental. 3 types of injuries. You can give a physical injury, there can be a verbal injury, or there can be a mental injury. Technically called thought, word, and deed. Technically called thought, word, and deed. In the context of ahimsa, you understand it as a physical injury, a verbal injury, and a mental injury. So what is it that you avoid? You avoid causing himsa through physical means, through verbal means, through mental means. Most of the time we restrain the physical means. Why we restrain the physical means? Not because we want to practice ahimsa and all. If you get physical, instantly you will get back. That instant getting back prevents you. You follow? Vijay, Purida. We want to get physical also in injury, but we avoid getting physical. Why? Because you hit somebody, that fellow will immediately hit you back. Therefore, you know that you will get it back immediately. When you know that you will get it back immediately, what you will resort to? Clear? Verbal. Clear. நீ அங்கிருந்தே பேசணும், நான் இங்கிருந்தே பேசுவேனா? Verbal. Why? Because physically you will get it back immediately. So what do? Verbal. Now verbal also you get some retaliation. So what do the third thing that people resort to? The mental. And they believe that they are safe, and they believe that they are all right, because there's nothing to retaliate. Therefore they think they are safe. So the first vratam is what? Ahimsa is one. Ahara is one vratam. And today, all the entire culture and religion has restricted vratam only to food. Rest of the 10 things doesn't exist at all. So what are we talking about? What is the other 10 also we are talking today? Otherwise, today, all culture, all tradition, all religion, all spiritual practices revolving around ahara niyama means that's it, isn't it? What Vivekananda calls it as religion in India is very easy, he said. The religion in India is very easy because it is all confined only to the kitchen, he said. He calls it as kitchen religion. What to eat, what not to eat, and which vessel to cook, which vessel not to cook, that's all. That is, it is one of the aspects, but not the primary aspect or the major aspect. How to understand this? Then we need to know the list of the other things also. Carefully follow. He is only saying Dhrida Vrata Hava. Idallam Krishna sollala. He is only saying Drida Vrataha. Now we are taking that word Vrataha and we are trying to elaborate on that word. What he meant by this word. So first one is Ahara, we saw. Second is Ahimsa. Third one is Satyam. The third one is Satyam. Satyam is giving up falsehood. That's all. Not a hypocrisy. That's all. Satyam means no. Satyam means no hypocrisy. That's all. Satyam doesn't mean being factual. Satyam doesn't mean being factual. Satyam means not being a hypocrite. That's all. Standing up for a conviction is called, you have a conviction and you stand up for that conviction is called Satyam. And today Satyam, people understand Satyam means being factual. In Vedanta, we don't mean Satyam means factual. Satyam means standing up for a you have a conviction and you stand up for that conviction. Then you are practicing a life of Satyam. To thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Shakespeare. This is called Satyam. Satyam means the strength, the inner conviction you have to stand up for for your values, for your convictions. That is Ahimsa. That is Satyam. The third one is Asteyam. Asteyam means not stealing. Literally it will be translated as not stealing. Asteyam means, remember this, Asteyam means any benefit that you get through any unfair deal is stolen. This is Asteyam. But இதெல்லாம் practice பண்ணா practical life ல வாழவே முடியாது sir. Then you can continue to be in ignorance and pay the price of being ignorant. If you want to grow, you don't have a choice. If you want to grow, there is no choice. What is the no choice? Certain vratas has to be followed. What is the vratam here? Asteyam. What is Asteyam? Any benefit that you are trying through an unfair means is stealing. Whether the other recognize it or not is not the point here. There is the law that is recognizing it. Carefully follow. There is a law that is recognizing whether you are following the vratam or not. It is not what the others are recognizing. It is not what the others are seeing about you. It's not what others know about you. There is a law that is watching what you are doing, isn't it? And that law is called Yama. And Yama has a secretary. And that secretary name is Chitragupta. Avar paathum irukkaru illaya. He never makes a mistake in writing. Movie lalama he'll make a mistake, isn't it? In real life, he will never make a mistake. Asteyam, another vratam. It's a vow. It's a conviction. In the way that we understand in the modern day terminology, Swamiji keeps talking about it as don't bargain. This is a vratam. I will not bargain is the vratam. But sir, if you don't bargain, we'll be cheated. No, isn't it? Okay, be smart and get cheated by the law. You be smart and don't want to get cheated by the other, but then you are cheating yourself. So there is so Asteyam is another vratam. What is that vratam? Any unfair deal. Any unfair deal. What is unfair deal means? When you want something and when that is providing you want something and what you want is being provided by somebody and you are not even willing to pay the price for it. You want it, somebody has it. You want it, somebody has it. What is common sense? Pay the price. While paying the price, say thank you and pay the price. That is Asteyam. Bill கிடையாதுங்க. You are not taking a receipt. You want it. If you don't want it, where is the problem? Srikanth, புரியுதுல்ல? If you don't want it, there is no problem at all. Problem comes only when you want it. Okay, now that you want it, it doesn't matter. It's not wrong to want it, but there is a legitimate way of getting what you want. That is vratam. There is a legitimate way of getting what you want. The legitimate way of getting what you want is called vratam. So what is Asteyam here? You want it, and somebody is providing you. What is it that you got to do? Two things you got to do. What are the two things that you got to do? First is you have to say thank you. Second is thank you சொல்லிட்டேன் சார், ஃப்ரீயா குத்துற கூடாதா? Isn't it? You don't say that. I have said thank you. No. Why can't you give it for? After saying thank you, you pay the price. The third chapter, he says, you take from the nature, and if you don't say thank you and pay back, you are a thief. Asteyam starts from there. That chapter 3. You take sunlight from sun god and refuse to acknowledge, you are stealing. That is why sun is seen as sun god. Because you want something, whoever gives you what you want to becomes God. Correct? Huh? This is the definition of God. Prasad, you want something, whoever gives you what you want becomes your God. That's why teacher becomes God, the doctor becomes God, the lawyer becomes God, the accountant becomes God. Everybody becomes God in life. Why? Because your list of want is so big that 33,000 crore gods also can't satisfy. Yeah, maybe we should have another list of another 33,000 crore gods also, because our list of want is so high. Therefore, what is Asteyam here? Sir, I don't steal, sir. No. It is not the actual. It's like saying, I don't pickpockets, I don't burgle ATMs, isn't it? That is not what he means, Asteyam. That's not what it is. What is meant is any benefit through any unfair deal is called stealing. Another vratam, Asteyam. Another vratam is brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam means a overall idea of a sense control. A overall idea of what is sense control. When you are practicing that sense control, you are practicing brahmacharyam. Titiksha, another vratam. Titiksha, another vratam. One of the beautiful vratams that you can take in life is titiksha. What is titiksha? You take that vratam, and even if you can stick to it 10%, you will be all right. What is titiksha? Titiksha is a vratam that you will take, that you will not complain of anything. What does titiksha means? Never to complain. But God is an area where you can go and give all the complaints, no? Isn't it? So what is titiksha? Putting up with inconveniences, putting up with inconveniences, putting up with difficulties cheerfully. All that means what? A vratam that you will not complain. Otherwise, the moment you wake up till the time you go to sleep, we have a long list of complaints, isn't it? Wherever we go, our complaints go first, isn't it? Kasi pona complaints, Gaya pona, complaints. Rameswaram pona, complaints. Come back home, complaint. Titiksha. What is titiksha means? A vratam that you take. A vow. What is the vow? That I will stop complaining. Okay, what's wrong in complaining? What's wrong in complaining? That you have to stop it. Complaining means you are putting your terms and conditions to life, and life has got no respect to your terms and conditions. What is complaining means? You put your terms and conditions to life, and life doesn't. Life has no regard for your terms and conditions. Life says, the law says, I am not going to change for you. You want to be all right. You want to be all right. You change. Complaining means you want to change the. So another discipline that you follow, another vrata you follow is titiksha, not complain. So idu what should not be done, what should not be done. So 5 disciplines of what should not be done we saw. Now what we should do, because we started by saying pratham means something you should not do, something you should do. So idu what all we should not do, Patachi. Now another list of what we should do. When we start talking about all these things, only Vedanta becomes very difficult. As long as we don't talk about all these things, it's a very good entertainment. So Vedantic knowledge is so good an entertainment as long as we don't say all these things. The moment we start saying all these things, work out, sir. We'll go to some other, we will go and do something else. Shaucham. What you should do? Shaucham. Shaucham means a awareness of dirt, not cleaning. It's an awareness. And what is the dirt? The impure emotions is the dirt. The impure thoughts is the dirt. So Shaucham means external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. We understand the external dirt, but we don't recognize the internal dirt. So what is the internal dirt? The internal dirt of Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya is the internal dirt. Dirt means that which causes disease, agitations. That is dirt. What causes you disease is dirt. What is the dirt that causes the mental disease? Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya are the dirt that causes mental disease. So a vratam not to entertain any of these. Ignorance, dirt. So you take a vow that you will have the study every day. Adhikku separate niyamave vandirutadu. Swadhyaya we are going to see last. So here we are talking about the internal dirt and the external dirt. Saucham. Second thing that you have to do is santosha, a cheerful disposition. Cheerfulness. That is another vratam that you take to be cheerful. Ramtirtha says, lock yourself up in the room and don't come out, he says. If you are not cheerful, don't lock yourself up in the room and don't come out. Don't spread the disease of melancholy to the world. Don't come and spread the disease. Always with the long face. I don't know what is it. Face is same size only. I don't know what is long face, short face. But what it means is coming out with that cheer. That cheer. So santosha is a cheerful disposition. When you come out, you should be smiling. You should bring in some cheer. Ramatirtha's words. Lock yourself up in the room if you are sad and miserable. Why? Because the world has its own World has its own sorrows and miseries already. At least don't add up to it. Third vratam you got to do is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means scriptural study is the compulsory duty. See, this vratams, you should understand it as compulsory duty, sir. It's not moral values. Please understand it. It's not moral virtues. It's not moral values. It's a compulsory duty. It is. Compulsory duty means what? Do it, persa benefit lang kadayadu. Panlana severe punishment. If you don't do it, punishment will be severe. If you do it, awards will not be given. If you do it, award will not be given. If you don't do it, I'm repeating third time. You should remember that. If you don't do it, that's why it's called the duty. So these are all your duty. So swadhyaya becomes another. So vratam is your duty. All the vratams is your duty, and another important duty is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya, self-study. Self-study of what? Self-management books. That's confusion, that's ignorance. Yeah. Self-study under supervision and guidance. That's implied. Because Shastric study is not to be done by yourself. Shastric study must always be done by guide. In fact, any study becomes meaningful only when it is done under supervision and guidance. Full stop. It doesn't matter. Study itself means what? It has to be under guidance and supervision. Self-study, sir. I have all the self-help books, isn't it? Self-help is the best help. My God. What all things we have. Vedanta says exactly the opposite. Knowledge must be taken from knowledge must be studied under guidance. So swadhyaya, self-study implies what? Every day you study, and that study is guided, supervised. Swadhyaya. The another vrata, which is your duty. Then comes tapas. Another duty. Tapas in Vedantic language is middle path. Tapas equals middle path. A life of moderation is called a life of tapas. Opposite of tapas is excessive indulgence or unintelligence, abstinence. Both are not tapas. You follow? Vijay, purida tapas na tapas na middle path follow pandradhukku per tapas. Okay, what is opposite of tapas? Either indulgence or abstinence. Both are extremes. That is not tapas. Tapas is what? Moderation is tapas. That's why tapas is very difficult. Indulgences are easy. Opposites, okay. Understand it as a principle. It is easy to move into the opposites. It is easy to indulge. And the very indulgence itself will take you to abstinence at some point of time. So the very abstinence becomes a preparation for the next round of indulgence. The very indulgence is the preparation for the next round of abstinence. Thus, we are moving between abstinence, indulgence, abstinent, indulgence, abstinent, indulgence. Then what is tapas? Avoiding the two. Avoiding the two is called tapas. So to put it in the modern language, it's called the middle path. Moderation in eating, moderation in sleeping, moderation in entertainment, moderation in middle path, moderation that you follow in everything. To overeat is easy, and the very overeating will provide indigestion, will make you indigested, and you will not eat the next meal, isn't it? You will overeat, and the very overeating will make you feel indigested. So you will not eat the next meal. There is no tapas. What is tapas here? Eating the right quantity, all 3 meals a day requires discipline. That is tapas. Eating the right quantity, the right quality, the right quantity, all 3 meals a day involves tapas. If all I'm just taking food as an example to explain what is meant by tapas, a vratam that you have to follow. The last one, what in the Patanjali, in the Yoga Sutra, he called it as Ishvara Pranidhanam. In the Yoga Sutras, he calls it as Ishvara Pranidhanam. Ishvara Pranidhanam means surrendering to the universal law. In Vedic Vedantic literature, God equals law. Law equals God. God and law are not separate. Intellectually, you understand it as a law. If you don't understand it as a law, what people do, they put a murti. They create a form of God. And then they believe that form will, and that form will help them what? From all the violations of the law. First, they will create a God, which is itself not God at all. Yeah. First, they will create a God, which is not God at all. And then on top of it, they create another belief. What is the belief? I can violate all the law and then go to God and surrender to that God. And that God will say, now that you have joined to my Goshti, now that you have subscribed to me, all those who have subscribed to me will be granted exemption. This people misunderstand it as bhakti. Yeah. This people misunderstand it as bhakti. What is it? Simply subscribe. Yeah. YouTube channel subscribe pandra madri. Go and subscribe to that. Go and subscribe to one God or go and subscribe to something. And then whatsoever law that I violate, that God will protect me. Another vratam. What is the vratam you take? You say, what is the vratam? The vratam is you surrender to God. Surrendering to God means surrendering to the law. The law. Because God equals law. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. That is the vratam that you follow. Ishvara Pranidhanam, he calls it as Ishvara Pranidhanam. The other way of the Vedic way of saying it is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita is another vratam. So much of vratams we have, spoken already that it is too much to follow. Sir, Bhagavad Gita verses we will go back. Krishna is more comfortable than Krishna is more comfortable because he is not saying all these things. You come up with your own list and confuse us unnecessarily. Thank God we are not listening to you and we are listening to Lord Krishna. Yeah. Don't say that, Shankar. Our solrada elaborate panni solram avladha. Drida vrataha. What are the vratas? To summarize, ahara, ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, brahmacharyam, titiksha, shaucham, santosham, swadhyaya, tapas, dharma. Those who possessed of my divine nature, connected to verse number 13. Verse number 13, he said, those who possessed of my divine nature will follow all these. Those who possessed of my divine nature will follow all these. What are the things that they follow? This vratam, they will follow. And how do they follow it? Striving. Yatantaha. You have to strive to follow all that. You may take a vow, but the temptations comes in, the challenges, the trials, the temptations, the sufferings will make you to want to move away from it. Wherever these things comes, what do? None of the vratams I am going to violate. There is another method. If you violate a vratam, you fix a price for that. You take 11 vows. Each and every vow that I violate, 10,000 rupees fine for yourself. And then see whether you will violate or not. Puneet, try that out. Huh? Your whole month's salary will go in half a day, isn't it? The entire salary, half a day, it will get exhausted. What you will do after that? Huh? So you take a vow. What is the vow? If I do not follow this, this is the price I will pay. This practice is called karma yoga. Doing this is called karma yoga. And by this method of karma yoga, the bulk of desires reduces. Idella follow pannama, karma yoga reduces bulk of desires, karma yoga reduces bulk of desires. It will not reduce. How karma yoga will reduce the bulk of desires? By following the vratas. By following the vratas, and for every violation you have for every violation that you make, keep a price. Don't depend on Chitragupta for that. You depend on yourself for that. Then that alertness, the awareness brings about a very dramatic, drastic change in your personality. This alertness, this awareness brings about a change. And that change makes you more convinced in this change, will bring about a greater conviction to follow the tapas. This is karma yoga. Striving, firm in vows, ever steadfast. They worship me by the method of karma yoga. Then the method of bhakti yoga. What is the method of bhakti yoga? Satatam kirtayantaha, satatam namasyantaha. That is bhakti. Satatam kirtayantaha, satatam namasyantaha. Satatam is an adjective that you can qualify for both. Satatam kirtayantaha means always glorifying me. Glorifying me means talking about me. That's all it means. Thinking about me, talking about me. Satatam kirtayantaha, glorifying me means what? Not chanting Sahasranama. It means that Sahasranama is a way of glorification because you are thinking about the Lord all the time. So he says, always glorifying me, always prostrating before me. And when you prostrate, how do you prostrate? Bhaktya, devotion. Devotion is a recognition that there is a superior power. There is something superior to you. That is devotion. Karma yoga and bhakti yoga, that's where it is very confusing. Karma yoga says effort. Effort will produce the result. Karma yoga says. Bhakti yoga comes and says there is a superior. There is a higher power. There is the totality. A judicious combination of these two is what is step number 1 of spiritual sadhana. Effort plus recognizing the superior power. When you recognize the superior power, effort goes out. When effort comes in, you forget the superior power. So karma bhakti is a combination. What is a combination of karma bhakti? Recognizing the effort and sincere and dedicated to the effort, and remembering that there is a greater. Both are not done sequentially, both are done simultaneously. That's where knowledge helps you to do it simultaneously. It's not that you do karma first sequentially and then go to bhakti later. Karma, bhakti must be done simultaneously, not sequentially. So what is bhakti? Bhakti is a recognition. What is the recognition? Karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. That is how karma bhakti gets reconciled. How does karma bhakti get reconciled? The advantage of our shastra is they will give all the answers first and then only they'll ask the questions. Yeah, answer question, isn't it? So how does knowledge reconcile karma and bhakti? Karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. Ma karma pala hetur bohu mate sangostva karmani. Verse number 47, chapter 2, where he has said very clearly, your duty is in right, only result is decided by me. You do the work, I decide the salary. Yeah, you don't decide the salary. That's what he said. You don't decide your salary. All you got to do, you do the work. Salary will be decided by me. Sincere, dedicated doing, recognizing the superior power is called the judicious, effective combination of karma and bhakti. So verse number 14 spoke about the combined discipline of karma and bhakti. Up to this, we saw last week. We wanted to continue it, but then I had to finish early because of something. Therefore, we elaborated the verse number 14. And now we move on to verse number 15. Verse number 15, Badinga.
ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्.
Jnana yajnena chapyante. Yet others, sacrificing by the yajna of knowledge, worship me as one, as distinct and as manifold, facing all directions. Yet others, sacrificing by the yajna, sacrifice of knowledge, worship me as one, as distinct and as manifold, facing all directions. Yet others means distinct and different from what we have seen in the previous verse. The previous verse, we saw one category, karma bhakti category. Here we are seeing another category, yet others. Anye. Anye means others. Previous verse also there is one category of others. In this verse also there is another category of anye, others. Verse number 13, what are the others? Rakshasis, Asuris, Duratmas, isn't it? Rakshasa people, Asuric people, Duratma, Dushtatma, Duratma, all that we saw in verse number 13. Verse number 14, others. Who are the others there? Those who do karma bhakti. In verse number 15 that we are studying currently, again, anye, others. Abdina, avungalukku thavara different group. There is a group that is distinct and different from them also. What do they do? By jnana yajna, they do something. Jnana Jnana Yajna. Gita Jnana Yajna we say, no? Jnana Yajna. But Jnana Yajna, others remember me. What is Jnana Yajna? How does that operate? 3 words he uses to define what is Jnana Yoga. Just as in the previous verse, he indicated Karma Bhakti by Vratam, prostration, Satatam Kirtayantaha, etc. In this verse, he is using 3 words. The 3 words that he is using is Ekatvena, Pritatvena, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. Ekatvena means one. Pritatvena means distinct and different. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam meaning very many manifestations. Manifold facing all directions. Through Jnana Yajna, how do you remember me? Okay, through Karma Yoga, how do you remember me? Vratam, etc. Bhakti Yoga, how do you remember me? By obeying the law, whatever be it, etc. All that we saw, Karma and Bhakti. Now, Jnana Yajna, by doing the methodology of Jnanam also, they remember me. And how do they remember me? Through Jnanam? 3 words again. What are the 3 words? Ekatvena. See, they worship me as one. Oh, one na? Pritatvena. Distinct. Now, Ekatvam or Pritaktvam? You feel like asking him? Say it very clearly. Should I worship you as one or should I worship you as many? Jnana Yajna says, you will worship me as one, you will worship me as many. The third, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam means manifold facing all directions. Should I see you as one, or should I see you as many, or should I see you as manifold facing all directions? Jnana Yajna says, you will worship me in all the 3 ways. That is why Jnanam is not something very pleasant, because you feel like saying, it will be easy for us to, of the 3, choose one, it is understandable. How can you do all the 3? By doing karma, bhakti, etc. properly and all that, if you have gained that maturity, you will be able to do it rightly. That is why he called it as Anye, others. Who are the others? The others who have done the preparatory practices properly and have come to this maturity. Others, who are the others? Vijayarangan, Purida. Whoever has done the previous practices, karma, bhakti, etc. rightly, having gotten into the maturity, they will be doing this. They remember me, they worship me by the method of Jnana Yajna. And wherever he uses the word Yajna, it is beautiful, isn't it? He left the word Yajna in chapter 4 and he is referring to it again. Again, now he will bring in another reference in chapter 11 also. He will bring in a reference, Yajna. And what is Yajna? We have seen it. Yajna is idam na mama. We have seen that any number of times. Yajna means na mama. That is Yajna. That's what they do in the Yajna ritual, no? When they offer grains, they say na mama. Na mama means not mine. When I say not mine means having offered it to you, I will not claim any ownership henceforth. That is called na mama. Having offered it to you, no more claiming ownership is called yajna, na mama. Opposite of that is what? Having given, you claim ownership. Having given, you claim ownership. What is the ownership that you claim after giving? I have given. After giving, you claim one ownership. What is the ownership that you claim after giving? I am the giver. That is why it's not yajna. Okay. How do you understand it in the modern day context? The person will go to his village, family deity temple. Most of the families are all flourishing, but family deity temples will be dilapidated, isn't it? Very, very unfair, but that's how it is. Now what to do? Yeah. So they go to the dilapidated temple and the priest is waiting who will come so that he can ask for something. You went there and that fellow will ask for one tube light, isn't it? What he will ask for one tube light, he will ask, and then you give the tube light and you will write the entire family history in the tube light. Cost for writing your family history is more than the cost of the tube light, isn't it? Yajna says, na mama. After giving, don't claim. After giving, don't claim ownership. A wise one will not take if ownership comes. A wise person will not take with ownership. Example, Swamiji will not take any donation when it comes with a tag of ownership. What is the tag of ownership? At least put my father's name, put my mother's name, put my grandfather's name. After giving, you should say, na mama. Jnana yajna takes you to that height. Jnanam takes you to that height. What is the height? You give and you don't claim any ownership to that which you have given. I will give you, but I will check whether you are using it properly or not. Having given, you don't. You follow? Having given, you don't do that. Nowadays, there is no concept of yajna at all. Okay, here and there, a small community does a ritual yajna, which is very mechanical by nature. Okay, better to do it mechanically than not doing it at all. In that way, doing it is much better than not doing it at all. But the concept is very, very important. And even the small percentage of people who don't do it mechanically, where you will where the concept will be kept alive. Therefore, that mechanical doing is also very relevant to keep the concept of yajna alive. Therefore, if there is a choice between not doing and mechanical doing, what is better? Mechanical doing. But you don't stay put with mechanical doing. You develop, you grow into knowledge and understanding. And what is knowledge and understanding? After giving, you don't claim any ownership. That practice is called yajna. Idam na mama. In chapter 4, he said, chapter 3, chapter 4, he said, how the entire creation is maintained by the spirit of yajna. The entire creation is, the dharma of creation is, the dharma behind the creation is the spirit of yajna. And only one species has a choice, and they exercise the choice in the wrong direction. Only one species has a choice. What is that species? Human being alone has the choice. And they exercise the choice in the wrong direction. What is exercising the choice in the wrong direction? Not adhering to the principle of yajna. Verses 10 and 11. Parasparam bhavayantaha, he said, no. in chapter 3, verses 10 and 11. You should remember all this. That's why we keep this cross references. It's easy to understand. It is very confusing. Yeah, parasparam bhavayantaha. You satisfy them, they satisfy you. By satisfying one another, by mutual cooperation, you will live a better life. You will live a better life. Parasparam bhavayantaha. You satisfy the gods satisfies you, thus nourishing one another. All that we saw in chapter 3. So what is this jnana yajna here? Remembering all that. Remembering all that and performing actions. Remembering all that and performing actions. And when you remember that, what do you remember? Remember me. And how knowledge remembers you? How knowledge helps you to remember Brahman? How knowledge helps you to remember the divine? 3 words he uses. What are the 3 words? Ekatvam, Pritaktvam, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam means facing all directions at the same time. You can face only one direction, no? Facing all directions at all same time. It means you know what is happening in the front, you know what is happening in the back, you know what is happening to the left, you know what is happening to the right, you know what is happening urdhvam, you know what is happening below. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. It is true. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. So you remember the divine as what? You remember the divine as one, as many, infinite. Look at the gradation of development of thought. Ekam is one. Pritakttvena is many. Manifold in all directions is infinite. One, many, infinite. How do you remember me? Through jnana yajna. You don't straight away say infinite. You say one, you say many, you say infinite. Straight away, if you say infinite, you don't know what you are saying. Straight away, if you say one also, it is wrong. Straight away, you say infinite also, it is wrong. Therefore, what is knowledge? Takes you through the steps. What are the steps? Ekatvena, Pritakttvena, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. This is how you understand it as jnana yajna. In karma and bhakti, you worship. In jnanam, you claim what you worship as you. Remember this. That is why anye, others, they are different categories. What is the difference in category? In karma and bhakti, you worship. What you worship in jnanam, what you worship in karma and bhakti, through jnanam, you claim it as what? What you claim, what you worship as? In karma bhakti, you worship. That you worship in karma bhakti, what do you do in jnanam? Answer solradhukku bayama irukku, isn't it? You're frightened even edavadhu saami kannu kuthidumonu bayam, isn't it? Yeah. What do you worship in karma and bhakti? In jnanam, you claim it as me. I worship Shiva in karma and bhakti. In jnanam, I will say Shivoham. That's the difference. In karma and bhakti, you will worship Shiva. Yeah. Karma bhakti na Shivadas. Jnanam na Shankar. Shivadas ne per pota karma bhakti. Shivoham ne per pota Jnana. And the Lakshya of Vedanta is to come to this Jnana. So Karma Bhakti, you worship. In Jnanam, what you worship, you claim it as yours. But so good to claim it straight away without doing Karma Bhakti and all that, no, sir. Karma Bhakti la panna the list of 11 vratam follow பண்ணலனா அதுக்குன்னு ஒரு price அதெல்லாம் எதுவுமே இல்லாம straight away I come to ஞானம், straight away if I can claim it, how nice it will be. Is there a way to do that? Srikanth, அப்படி ஒரு மெத்தட் இருக்குதா? கிடையாது. There's no method like that. So you need to go through it properly. So verses 13 talks about the non-spiritual people. Verse 14 spoke about the people in the initial stages of the spiritual path. Verse number 15 is talking about the advanced student. So the non-student, the initial level of student, and then the advanced student. Having said all this, he is changing the gears now. 16 he will change the gears, and this change he will maintain up to chapter 12 varaikum. And why he changes the gear? Too much of knowledge is given. Too much of knowledge is given, too much for people to put, too much for Arjuna types to process and digest and understand another, too much. So what he does, he starts changing the gears and dramatizing it, fantasizing it. And he sows the seed for chapter 10 and chapter 11 from now on. Chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. Chapter 11, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. That Vibhuti Yoga, Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga is a dramatic representation. A dramatic representation of what? Ekatvena, Pratatvena, Bahuda, Vishwato Mukha. Remember that. If you want to understand chapter 10 and 11, you should know these 3 words. In the 3 words of Buddha, you will not understand chapter 10 and chapter 11. And most of the people miss these 3 words and they try to take 10 and 11 in isolation. And when you take 10 and 11 in isolation, it looks like a philosophical session, suddenly a movie potta madri chapter 10 and 11 comes, isn't it? Where he is taking a discussion at a very beautiful level. 10 and 11 is something that doesn't stick into the flow at all. But it sticks to the flow if you remember these 3 words. That's why I'm harping on these 3 words. Next verse, we'll forget these 3 words. But you should remember the 3 words as the Jnana Yajna way of remembering the God. By the Jnana Yajna way of remembering the God, you can understand it as, you can make use of it for Karma Bhakti also. So what is the Jnana Yajna way of remembering God? Ekatvena, Pritatvena, Bahuda Vishwato Mukham. It is Ekatvam, it is Pritaktvam, it is Bahuda Vishwato Mukham. Ekatvena talks about one aspect of God. What is that one aspect of God? It talks about a Murti. Pritatvena talks about the various levels of proximity. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, etc. Bahuda Vishwato Mukham takes you to the highest. Paraprakriti, Aparaprakriti. Chapter 7 and chapter 9. chapter 15, Kshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha. Same concept, different ways of presenting it, different ways of elaborating it. Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti. What is the cause for Aparaprakriti? Maya, etc. All that we saw in chapter 7, and we saw that in chapter 9 also. Okay, independent of that, it's 7 liyum puriyala, 9 liyum puriyala. That's a different story altogether, isn't it? Mama Maya Duratyaya, he said, I am in the world is not in me, isn't it? The world is in me, the world is not in me. I am in the world, I am not in the world. Wow, fantastic philosophy, isn't it? Doesn't know what you are, doesn't know what you are saying. All that we saw, same thing, Kshara, Akshara, Uttama Purusha, he takes it to a different level in chapter 15. Having spoken so much, 9 chapters of full concentrated philosophy, he saw a fatigue. What is the fatigue? Too much of disturbance. அதனால ஒரு பாட்டும் 2 காமெடி சீனும் போடுங்கப்பா, he said. படம் ரொம்ப சீரியஸா போயின்னு இருக்குது ரொம்ப நேரம். ராம் சுப்ரமணியம் chapter 2 verse number 11 ஆரம்பிச்ச சீரியஸ் படம் போயினே இருக்குது இல்லையா? Too much to follow. So what he is saying, give him some relaxation. And how to bring some relaxation? Yeah. ஒரு 2 காமெடி சீன், ஒரு பாட்டு சீன். And the comedy scene and party scene should not be conveying the wrong method. So the comedy scene and the song sequence and the comedy sequence also will be in line with Ekatvena Pritatvena Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. That is the greatness of Krishna. Purida Ram Subramaniam. Screenplay da. Yeah. Movie da. He's showing a movie. Beautiful movie he's showing. At times it gets fatigued because the receptivity of the audience is very, very, very poor, very low. Therefore, all this has to be brought about. From verse number 16 onwards. What he is going to do? What is this Bahuda Vishwato Mukam and distinct? He is going to say each and everything. He is going to take it up and he is going to say, it is me, it is me, it is me. Each and every portion he is going to take up and he is going to say, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. Up to chapter 11, he will be doing it. Abada, some relaxation. And then beautiful disciplines of 35 qualities and 20 qualities immediately. Yeah. Relaxation kuduthu mudichona or important message varanulla. And what is the message that comes immediately there? In chapter 12, 35 qualities he brings. In chapter 13, he brings in 20 qualities and gives us so many opportunities to practice. Just as he gave so many opportunities to practice in Vratam and all that, in 12 and 13 he will give another very many opportunities to practice. Okay. Adu mudilaya, 16th chapter. Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. That the qualities of the divine and demonical. Okay. Adu mudilaya, 17th chapter, 18th chapter. Personality chart, etc. Arjuna comes out very happily satisfied. Yeah. Kutta kaasuk nalla entertainment kuttangappa, isn't it? For the time that I spent, he gave a very good entertainment. Upanishads doesn't give all this entertainment. It doesn't talk about any of these things. It keeps repeating again and again You are that, you are that, you are that, you are that. In entertainment, nothing. Gita is much more Punit. That's the only difference. And Gita is much more effective because the vast majority of human beings belongs to this preparatory category. When vast majority belongs to the preparatory category, no point in stuffing them with the highest. Therefore, verse number 15, we are concluding today. Yet others. Who are the others? Those who do Jnana Yajna. And how do they do the Jnana Yajna? By worshipping me. Through knowledge, how do they worship me? They see me as one. You will see me as one. You will see me as many. And you will see me as infinite. You will see me as Kshara. You will see me as Akshara. And you will see me as Uttama Purusha. You will see me as one. In one form you will see. Krishna and formula you will see. And then you don't restrict you to that form of Krishna. In all the goodness you see God. Manifold means both good and bad. Each and every ray of the dream is the mind. First you say God in one. In one form you will see God. Second is you see God in all goodness. Third is, what is third level? Both good and bad comes out of God. This is Jnana Yajna. Level 1 is sacrificed when you go to the level 2. The level 2 is sacrificed when you go to the level 3. This is called Jnana Yajna. So how does it operate again from the layperson's perspective? First you see God in one. That is why God is restricted to one place. Garbhagraha. First you learn to see God there, isn't it? And then you don't restrict God to that, because you come out of it, God is not there. Eh? No. God is there. In wherever there is goodness, there is God. So what do? You disassociate from the badness and you associate with the goodness. That is level number 2. That is called Pruthakttvena. And then Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. What is Bahuda? This is the highest. What is the highest? Whatsoever is here is God. Isa Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Idam Sarvam Isha. Ada Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. Isa Vasyam Idam Sarvam. In the verse of Bhagavad Gita. Shankar. Chapter 10. Isa Vasya Upanishad. It's called Isa Vasya Upanishad. Isa Vasyam Idam Sarvam Isha. Meaning what? All that is here is only the God. How do you understand that? Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnav, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivadena Gandhavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina. So, first you see God divine in a location. And then you mature into seeing God in all goodness. And you don't stop there. That is also one stage only. That also you have to outgrow. And then what is the third? Whatever there is good and bad is Isha. Isa Vasya Upanishad. Isa Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunjitam Agrada Kasya Siddhanam. If you go to this is Jnana Yajna. Others worship me through this Jnana Yajna. The bottom line is what? Ride through, worship me. Ride through, worship me. Right? Worshipping means Ananya Chinta, remembrance. Worshipping implies remembrance. Remembrance implies gratitude. You can remember out of hatred and you can remember out of gratitude. Remembrance can happen in two ways. Hatred also you can remember. Gratitude also you can remember. what you should not do and what you should do. Remembrance should happen out of gratitude. Remembrance should not happen out of hatred. But the mind has a tendency to forget gratitude and remember hatred, isn't it? The longevity of hatred versus the longevity of gratitude. What is longer? அவர் நல்லது பண்ண சார், தேங்க்யூ சொல்லிட்டான், அவ்வளவுதான். Okay, but somebody did harm to you. Why do you have to harbor the hatred for such a long period of time? Why can't you, why, just as you can let go of gratitude so fast, why can't you let go of hatred fast? But you cannot. Mind will hold on to the negativities for a long period of time and let go of the virtues fast. Making an effort to remember the virtues is tapas. Making an effort to remember the virtues and not fall into the trap of the other is tapas. That is anye, others. You do all that, you gain an inner maturity, and then you come to the level of jnana yajnena chapyante yajanto mam upasate. Jnana yajna people also are worshipping me. Karma bhakti people are also worshipping me. But how they worship? They worship me through vratam and namaskaraha, etc. How does Jnana Yajna people worship me? Jnana Yajna people worship me by understanding me as ekatvam, pratakvam, bahuda vishwato mukam. With this, we conclude verse number 15. Next week, the gear change. Next week, the gear change. He will change the gear, but we will not change the gear. Don't get happy now. Our gear change, we will come and we will bring in the same thing again and again. With this, we conclude for today.
All our questions are there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll take it up. Irka? If Priyavak, questions by Mala in the previous class. If Priyavak is not even heard by the other person who constantly speaks unpleasantly, I naturally get into Apriyavak just to shut up the other. If I do not have the option to go away, not sure if this is right. See, last week we were talking about tapas, vak tapas. See, today we spoke about ahara niyama tapas, no? Today we spoke about ahara niyama. Last week we spoke about vak tapas. So I think she is referring to that vak tapas. What vak tapas is? What? Make an effort to use pleasing, pleasant words. Yeah. Use that to remember. So now the question is, if the others are speaking unpleasant, what do I do? If the others are speaking unpleasant, காதுல பஞ்சு வச்சுக்கணும், அவ்வளவுதான். Switch off பண்ணிடணும். I should not use unpleasant words in retaliation. I should switch my mind and tell myself I am listening to Sahasra Naman solliran. I should not use unpleasant words to shut up the other and all. Because you are creating a chain here. When you do that, you are creating a chain. See, tapas is to break the chain that I have already created. You don't create new chains. Various methodologies by which you break the chain. So how do you break the chain? You use pleasant words, and the other is using unpleasant words. When the other is using unpleasant word, what do? Visvam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya. Another. Bhavat Prabhu, you start doing all that. Vishnu Sahasranama, that's all. So, they are using unpleasant words, but how you will register it? You will register it as the pleasant. Mala, puriyarda? So don't do that. Just because the other is using, you don't resort to that. You continue to do it. That is answering the first question. Second question, Kshama, compassion. Why should I be soft at others needing help? You said everything is due to some karma done in the past. It is up to that person to realize it and come out of that current issue. Both appear conflicting to me. By being compassionate, am I interfering with the laws of nature? Very good question. How do I know that I'm interfering or helping to correct the damage created by someone in any situation? Very good question. There are two things that we talk about. One is compassion. Compassion means a love, identification. One, we are talking about love, identification, compassion, helping. On the other hand, we say it is due to their own, the situation that they are into is their own making. Having understood it as their own making, by me trying to help them out, am I interfering with the law? Mala, idana kelvi. Very good question. The answer is, by you helping the other, you are creating a conducive environment for the other to wake up and understand and get out. Helping, you are not removing the karma of anybody. Remember that. I can't remove your karma, you can't remove my karma. But you can create a conducive environment for me to rethink my way of functioning. You can create a conducive environment for me to reassess what I am doing. Compassion, love identification does that. You are not removing the karma of another. Please understand that. Your help, your compassion, your love, your identification is not going to remove the karma of that cannot, but then it does help. What is the help? You are creating a conducive environment. You are creating. What is a conducive environment you are creating? How come when I am getting agitated, this person is so loving and caring? When I am agitated and disturbed and cursing and crying and cursing and complaining and all that, how is it that this person is so loving, so caring, so affectionate? Isn't it? That is what compassion does. Mala, puriyarda? So don't arrogate that your compassion is not to remove the karma of another. Your compassion is going to bring about a change in the other, and it is the change that is going to help. That is why wise men live a life of tapas to motivate us. Wise men live a life of tapas to motivate us. There is no need for them, but then they do it. Why? Because that inspires us. So love, compassion, or love, identification, compassion can inspire the other. That's why love is so beautiful. Love and compassion is extraordinary because it is this love and compassion that can inspire the other. Not the talk, not the motivational talk. Motivational talk can inspire for half a day. Or the class we will meet next week. Now motivation also will start only next week. What brings about it is the love and identification. So, are you interfering with the law by being compassionate to the other? Nobody has the capacity to interfere with the law. Please understand that. Nobody has the capacity to interfere with the law, because that's why it's called a law. If I can interfere with the law, it means law is not powerful. I am powerful. Nobody can interfere with the law. That is the fact. That is the truth. Where there is a growth, growth comes with an identification. The sign of growth is identification. What is identification? When the other need not suffer, why are they unnecessarily suffering? What can I do to help them out? And how can you help them out? By inspiring the other. How can you inspire the other? By you living a life of vratam and tapas. By you living a life of vratam and tapas, you will be able to inspire the other. And when you live that life of vratam and tapas, you will be able to inspire the other. And that inspiration, in that inspired moment, they reassess themselves. You are giving them an opportunity to reassess, to rethink, to bring about a lifestyle change. That's how you are helping. Remember this. Yes, Mala, did I answer you? Yes. So helping is not to help the person get rid of their karmas and all. Please. Everybody has to get rid of their own karmas. That's what in Ramayana, when Rama meets, Rishi says, all the power of my tapas, I'll give it to you, Rama. The Rishi says, for which Rama doesn't say thank you and take it. Rama says, don't you think I should earn it by myself? Don't you think I should earn it by myself? So you have to earn it by yourself only. But as a seed needs protection. Love is a protection. Love is the fence that protects the seed from turning into a. It is the seed that helps the. Love is the fence that helps the seed turn into a tree. Remember that. Is fencing required or not? It is required. Up to some level, it is required. You cannot take away the need of the fence. And what is love? Love is the fence that protects the seed till it turns into a tree. Fence a tree grow panna udalana enna pandrathu? If the fence is stunting the growth, now what do you do? Isn't it? The fence should not stunt. The fence facilitates. So love and compassion identification is the facilitator. Guru's grace, Guru's love, Guru's grace, Guru's identification is the fence that protects the Shishya from the seed to a tree. What is Guru's love? Guru's fence. It is that which helps the Shishya to mature into a strong person. And for that help, we remain grateful to those who love us. You follow now? It's complete. To that inspired, to that inspiration they are able to give us, I say, thank you, and I serve back. So, by love and compassion, you are not negating the karma of another. By love and compassion, you are acting like a fence. Temporary. Fence itself means temporary. Correct? Fence is temporary. You don't have to say temporary fence. Or there cannot be a permanent fence, isn't it? Once it grows, it's on its own. Did I help you, Mala?
Yes, sir. There was one more question that I asked, sir.
Yes. Another mother. Just read it out.
I don't remember. I think the question.
Remember and bring it up next week. We'll take it up.
Okay. So, okay. One question. Okay. One question that I want to ask from the current session is, for tapas, you gave the definition as something like moderation, mid path, and anything that I mean, any restriction that I impose on myself
Yes.
in line with the Shastras to reach
Yes.
the higher, something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
I mean, in the scriptures that we understand tapas as Otakalla Nikarde and that extreme things.
Yes.
So why do then the scriptures project tapas in that way, that as an extreme act?
Exactly what he is going to do from verse number 16 onwards. Too much of philosophy gets too dramatic, too incomprehensible, unless a physical description is shown. So, if a physical description is shown, it becomes easy to understand the concept. So, a physical description of what is happening internally is what is shown as ant hill is formed. You remove the hair, birds will make a nest on the hair. What does all that mean? That long, how much time it takes for anthill to grow? It means to that time, that longevity is having ananya chinta. He is not compromising till that point comes. All this is a physical description of the Dhrida Vrataha. A physical description of Dhrida Vrataha. It is like the Amar Chitrakatha story. You need some Amar Chitrakatha also sometimes. Mala. But அதே பர்சன் இருக்கக்கூடாது, அதே உண்மைன்னு எடுத்துக்கூடாது. ப்ராப்ளம் என்னாச்சு? அமர் சித்திர கதா has become the reality and concepts are forgotten. So anybody who stands on one leg doesn't mean they are doing tapas. Irungo.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay, so are you saying that the moderate path that I'm supposed to stay in all facets of life?
Yes.
That's the only thing that will help me to focus on
tapas.
The higher, I mean, the Ananya Chitta.
Yes.
Without the moderation, yes. I will not be able to.
No, tapas is middle path. Without middle path, only in middle path the mind will be calm. That calm mind is required to focus on the higher. Middle path keeps the mind calm, and you need a calm mind to focus on the higher. The mind that is moving in extremes cannot be calm. And that calm mind, how can you focus on the higher? So you got to bring it to calmness first. If you have to bring it to calmness first, you have to bring it to middle path first. Not in extremes. You follow? That's how it works. சரியா?
இந்த ஜென்மத்துல எனக்கு இல்லன்னு அர்த்தம் சார். தபஸ்.
As long as you are associating with Krishna and his knowledge, that is enough. As long as you associate with the knowledge, it doesn't work. Class, I'm not talking about the class. I'm talking about the Gita, talking about associating with the knowledge. As long as you are associating with the knowledge and the Gita, doesn't matter. Very soon, he says. Very soon it will happen. As long as you associate with the knowledge, then it works out. Chariya? You follow? Yeah. With this, we conclude for today.
Bharat has posted a question.
Bharat sir, mudikka maadrendra. Bharat, can you please differentiate between ekatvam and advaitam? In certain verses, they are used interchangeably. Yes. Ekatvam and advaitam can be used interchangeably. Bharat. Yes, sir. Yes, Bharat.
No, yeah, I have seen, so we are all observing this particular usage.
Yes.
Coming through.
Yes.
And ekatvam and advaitam are maybe leading to the same concept, but
yes.
They are completely different in terms of understanding.
Yes.
So that is why I was Why
Correct.
are they using this interchangeably
Yes.
was the question.
Yeah.
Guruji.
Each and every word they use has a specific function of removing one layer of ignorance. At the same time, they can be used interchangeably also. They are not simple synonyms.
Exactly.
Each and every Sanskrit word has two things. One is it removes one specific layer of ignorance it can remove. At the same time, it can be used interchangeably also. So, ekam removes one, non-two, advayam, advaitam removes another thing. By implication, we can use it as synonyms also. So there is a very specific meaning ekam has, there's a very specific meaning advaitam has. At the same time, it can be used interchangeably. And why do they use it like that? That much of manana is required. So much of material, so much of scope for mananam must be given so that the matured mind that has done so much of manana gets qualified for nididhyasana moksha. The usage is because you know one, you can only memorize. There is no rethinking. Manana is to make you think again and again and again. To make you think again and again and again, words has to be that much used. That is the purpose. So these words are specifically designed for manana, reflection. So it is used, it can be used interchangeably and it can be used with a distinct meaning also. Is it okay, Bharat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, more introspection
Yes.
gives clarity.
Yes.
The reason,
Yes.
of course, can go on, but I'll try and see.
Yes.
I'll try.
The words that they use must give you a clarity and it should also promote thinking. The words that you have a question. Remember this methodology of teaching. You ask a question, an answer will be given. The answer should satisfy you. At the same time, it should trigger the next question.
Correct.
Two things has to be done. That's how they are doing it. So you ask, it will satisfy you, but then if it satisfies, intellect falls off to sleep after that. So they will satisfy you. At the same time, they will give, in that answer, there will be a lead to another question. So they have to satisfy, at the same time, not allow questioning to stop. A wonderful methodology of teaching. Yes, okay?
Fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Made a note.
Yes, please. With this, we conclude for today. We continue with 16 onwards in the next.
Thank you.